this thing is far from ready to really be driven or anything. But we got the radiator hooked back up. I got some fuel in it. I think I got everything hooked up in the front correctly, but we'll see. There's still stuff that's kind of hanging around and stuff. I just want to make sure that the fuel pumps work and all the tank work we did in the back works. So I just want to hear it run. First start. Okay. So this video was tough to make. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it anyway. The issues that I've run into with the truck this week in particular, I would say it's probably the lowest lows I've had on this project. And you know, it ebbs and flows when you do these things, right? You have highs, you have lows, but it was like this past weekend, I was like, I want to get this thing moving. I feel like I'm right there, I can do it. It was like ground issue, no crank issue. I still have no spark issue. Like, it's just the transmission line that wasn't leaking is now leaking. And I know I have to expect this because it's a 30-year-old truck, but this is the reality of doing one of these projects. If you're thinking about it, I encourage you to do one because you're going to learn a lot and you can do it. But just know you have to push through the lows, and they get pretty low sometimes. So I'm fine. We're moving forward. We're making progress. This truck will be finished. So, but yeah, onward and upward. All right, so we're still troubleshooting the truck. I've checked, I think, 8 of the 10 grounds on the actual truck. I can't get the key to turn over the truck. When I short the starter solenoid, it turns over, it won't start. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna rule out the starter solenoid. So we just went to, the only place local was Advanced Auto. I usually go to O'Reilly's. So went and got a Motorcraft starter solenoid for an F-Series. Got that, that's good. The other thing I noticed is that there's some chassis to ground, like chassis to frame, or like, I guess body panel to frame braided ground cables. Horrible. Like, I touched one of them and it just disintegrated. So I got 2 of those. So we're gonna try that. Boy, do I feel like an idiot. I've been working on the Ford here. I've chased every ground wire, trying to figure out a no crank situation with the key, and put a brand new starter solenoid in it. If I jump the terminals, it works. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And then I see this one video from this one guy, and he's like, make sure you scuff your fender before you mount your starter solenoid to the fender. And I was like, oh, is that why the backing plate on the starter solenoid is metal? Because it's a ground? So to answer the question, yes. This is metal because it grounds to the fender, which means if you're putting new fenders in like I did, this has to be bare. So scuff that up with a wire wheel before you mount this. I'm gonna show you how to test the ground because I figured that might be useful for some other people. So here we are, we got a battery. And the first thing you need is, you need a multimeter. You don't need an expensive one, go get a cheap one, it's no big deal. And then what we wanna do is we wanna set ours to volts, go to lowest setting, 20. You could also use the battery setting if you're just a battery, put on the 9 volt. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna get a baseline. We're gonna go red to red, or red to positive, black to negative, and we're pulling up 12.7. Okay, so right here on the fender is a ground. And so you keep your red on the red, take your black, put on the ground over here, should be getting roughly the same reading, which we are. I've got another ground over there, but the ground right here, I believe that's a ground. And this one, let me show you what I'm getting for a reading on that. Okay, it's hard to get it all in one shot, but red to red, red to here on the ground, and I touch the washer, not the bolt. Getting 12, 7, but then I just move it over a little bit on the same piece of metal. Getting that, put on the bolt head, which you never should put on the bolt head. I'm not getting ground. It's just giving me all kinds of wonky readings. So just to be safe, I think I'm going to remove this, scuff up the metal behind it, and clean the washer itself, and then it's a little crusty. Clean the washer itself, clean the metal, and then hook it back up and see if it improves. All right, so I'm trying to chase down this spark issue. I pulled a plug. I got no spark there. I reset the connectors down here on the coil. Coil is right there. That didn't do anything. And then I was just starting to look. I was trying to look for a ground on the distributor, and I happened to notice that situation. And so this was all mouse housed down here. So now I'm in the process of taking this off to get access down there and see if I can repair that connector. All right, so here's where we are with the connector. I cut it off and I've taken it apart. So here's your housing. And these wires slide into the housing, and that's what you see on this side. You have 4 parts technically. You have the outer housing. This is the waterproof barrier for the rear of the connector, which is over here. Okay. This is the inner waterproof connector that kind of goes in the front here and there. And then this is like a clip that holds the pins in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reassemble this. These are going to slide in. 1, 2, you know, like if I can mock it up, it's hard to film this. 1, 2, this goes in the back, this goes in the front, and then this will hold the pins in. And then I think comes the real challenge, which is how do I connect this back to the wiring harness, because there's not much wire available up there. So I'm going to see if I can maybe cut the wiring harness wrap and see if I can pull some wire back. I mean, I just need a few inches, and I probably could get in there, solder up these ends, and then we might have a reasonable fix. My concern with not taking the intake off is that I don't know if any of the other ones are not, are chewed up like this one was. The one next to this was not, but that doesn't mean that the other ones aren't. I guess I could get like a bore scope, but I just don't have one, and see what's back there. So yeah, anyway, I'll bring you in when I've got some more updates. All right, here's an update on that fuel injector wiring. I was able to get enough wire off the harness. I soldered it directly in, and that's the pigtail I made. There wasn't enough meat on the bone to put like shrink wrap, so I had to just wrap it with electrical tape. So I still got a spark issue. So if any of you guys have any ideas how to resolve a spark issue with these cars, let me know. My next kind of area was like dive into the distributor, but little history here. So before we took the radiator support off, the fenders off, and kind of started doing all this work to this truck, I had no spark issue. I had no fuel issue. It cranked, it started, although I believe it was running off, 7 cylinders based on that. So I have a hard time believing that those things have failed since it's been sitting in the shop. I know it's possible, but you never know. So if there's an obvious thing, since I've got brand new fenders, like, am I missing a ground? What grounds should I be checking? I've checked a lot of them. So if you got any ideas, drop it in the comments below. I gotta go get a gasket for that, side note, so I can get that throttle body mounted back up. But yeah, we're making progress. So while I was trying to put the new radiator in, I broke the fan shroud. And so a new fan shroud's like $80 to $100. And so I saw these plastic welders, and they're $20 cheap Chinesium tool, but I was like, you know what, I'll give it a shot. And it worked great. It comes with these little clips. You put them in the end of the kind of the barrels of the gun, heat it up till it's piping hot, and then you stick it in the plastic, wait for it to melt about halfway down. You let it cool, and then you pull the gun off, and the metal staple piece remains in the plastic as a mechanical connection. So you kind of run up and down the ridge as I'm doing here and create a nice solid connection, and then you can cut the clips off and then kind of melt plastic over the top to kind of seal it down. And it worked great, and it feels really strong.
So sweet to me, this is where I wanna be. On up with you, supersonic, we're on fire, rockin' love alive. On up with you. Shots in the backseat of the Beamer, put my feet up, how you feeling? Yeah, yeah. Shots in the backseat of the Beamer, put my feet up, how you feeling? Yeah. Shots in the backseat of the Beamer, put my feet up, how you feeling? Yeah, yeah. Shots in the backseat of the Beamer, put my feet up, how you feeling? Yeah. Shots in the backseat of the Beamer, put my feet up, how you feeling? Yeah. Shots in the backseat of the Beamer, put my feet up, how you feeling? Yeah. So sweet to be. This is where I wanna be. So sweet to be. This is where I wanna be. On up with you. So sweet to be. This is where I wanna be. On up with you. Supersonic, we're on fire. Rockin' love alive. On up with you. Rockin' love alive. On up with you. Shots in the backseat of the Beamer, put my feet up, how you feeling? Yeah, yeah. Shots in the backseat of the Beamer, put my feet up, how you feeling? Yeah. Shots in the backseat of the Beamer, put my feet up, how you feeling? Yeah, yeah. Shots in the backseat of the Beamer, put my feet up, how you feeling? Yeah.
What you doing, kiddo?
I'm just sanding this grill because it looks nasty. Look at my hands, actually.
Yeah, maybe she gave you some gloves.
Yeah, probably, but who really cares?
We're gonna paint this black to match the new headlight bezels. And so this thing needs to be cleaned up, scuffed up, roughed up.
But also, we have a problem.
What's the problem?
Well, our F-250 is not starting up for some reason, so if you have an answer why you might think why, just drop it in the comments down below.
Sounds good.
So, yeah.
So why don't you tell the viewers what it's like to have your own camera crew?
You know, it's been a long journey. We've been on the rise. We're up to 38 subscribers now.
Woo!
And
We go.
I gotta thank my fans mostly, because I wouldn't be here without you. And that's really afforded me one less mechanic and one person that holds my iPhone. And it's huge.
Huge.
So if you can really like, comment, subscribe, let me know how much of an idiot I am. That would be great.
Yeah, the more people that think he's an idiot,
The more videos we're gonna make.
no, more likes mean more bigger idiot.
That's right, bigger idiot.
Bigger idiot. And if you think he should end his channel, subscribe.
Yeah. You want me to quit? You want me to quit? Just watch and subscribe. It's totally fine. I'll do it eventually.
Reverse psychology.
We're doing it.